Hi, everyone. This is Daniel, one of the hosts of the podcast. You may have noticed that I'm bringing something a little different than our normal podcast episode. Now, we're still going to release episode 69 as we normally would this week, but there is something that I really needed to talk about first. You may remember from episode 68, about a week and a half ago, I lost someone very close to me. And actually, it was my father who passed away unexpectedly. My dad passed away from COVID-19. Even though he was young, healthy for his age, and he didn't have any underlying conditions. So, as you can imagine, that event came to my family and me as a big shock. Now, I was very close to my dad. He was my absolute hero. He was the man that I looked up to the most in my entire life. And this is a really heavy hit for me. It's not the sort of news that is going to be fun to go onto a podcast and talk about or say. But it is a really important event in my life, and it's going to no doubt change my life in ways that I'll talk about when I'm recording the show week to week. So rather than dropping this in the middle of an episode, I wanted to make this announcement separate for everyone. Facing death and facing grief is never going to be easy. In fact, really, for me, the only thing that's getting me through all of this is the deep trust that I have in God and the faith that I have that I know God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to take away my sin, and the faith I have that because God did that and then Jesus rose from the grave, he proved he could conquer death, and then he offers me eternal life as well. And that's really the only thing getting me through this really difficult situation of facing death in the face like I'm having to right now. This good news that I'm talking about, this news about Jesus, is something that my dad definitely believed in. He, in fact, spent his entire life devoted to sharing that news with as many people as he could. If you are hearing this and have been through something, or even just hearing this now, you're struggling with the idea of what happens after you or someone that you love dies, or if you can't say that you have the same confidence that I'm talking about on where you're going to go after you die, that same confidence that has helped me get through this tragedy in my life, then I would like nothing more than to help you understand that better. Like I said earlier, my dad's life was completely devoted to sharing that message with people, and he led a Bible teaching ministry called Verse by Verse Ministry International. The ministry website is a fantastic resource to learn more if you are interested. It has all of the teaching he has ever done available for free to anyone. If you'd like to, you can check that out over on the website. It is vbvmi.org. That stands for Verse by Verse Ministry International.org. Either one of those will get you that resource. Additionally, if you have questions and you want to talk to me or Jordan about this directly, we encourage you guys, feel free to reach out in all of the usual channels. You can always send an email to patientplayerspodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to, you can put the word serious or the word private somewhere in the subject line, and that'll help us know that you don't want this read like an email you're sending in for the podcast on air, and you're wanting to ask a question. We also encourage you to join the podcast Discord over at patientplayers.com/Discord, and you're free to message me or Jordan or any of the mods like Pizzazz, my wife, and we'd all be happy to talk with you about this privately if you'd like to. I want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for being listeners and encouraging me and supporting me on this podcast. I want to say thank you for Keaton for being such a great friend of the podcast and jumping on as a guest when we really needed someone. I do hope that y'all really enjoy episode 69 this week. I know me and Jordan had an absolute blast recording it. It was a really nice break away from everything. And you should see that episode pop up on the podcast feed and on our YouTube channel, just like it normally does, only a few days after it's normally scheduled. So thank you for your patience, everyone, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.